on this. Thank you so much for that. See, wing women, there they are. Okay, let's just start. Let's get right to it. Boom. Same second slide. I'm going to pop out of it. I'm going to, hello, Mia. I'm so glad you're here again. Hello, Liz, I'm assuming is iPhone again. I'm so happy about, and I know there are people watching the replays that haven't been able to be in the room. Spotlighting me. Let's start. So this is our energy work, the magic, and one of the things I'm going to be talking about is quote unquote shamanism, which to me is really just connection with the earth, with the indigenous. I am Norwegian. We're going to wait to that, but this is in our blood too. This comes from Mongolia and then went to the very north parts. So it's just remembering. And so that's kind of what this vibe is, but also a very important part because it's an element of surrender and an element of prayer and an element of ceremony, which I think is very important to help remove me. Like I definitely believe doing this at the beginning of my sessions makes me more of a channel for truth. All right. Great spirits of the north. Entrance to the mental realm and the element of air. Allow me to use my breath and my words. And I'm hoping to have some conversations. So some words of the people in the room to guide the minds of all of us. You know, we are co-creating. Here we call in the animal kingdom, the four-leggeds, the winged ones, the swimmers, the creepy crawlers, and of course our mystical creatures, which, you know, the children are bringing back and we need to bring back too. We talk about mermaids, unicorns, dragons are really big right now. So calling in those mythical creatures. Thank you, North. Great spirits of the east, entrance to the spiritual realm and the element of fire. Rising like the ashes. Those, the VIPs in the room got that little dramatic fire thing. And that's what, you know, this workshop was always going to be called Ignite Your Sacred Heart. I've offered workshops, Ignite Your Sacred Flame. So there is a burning fire in us, and it is about passion. It is about purpose. And so this is what the spirit brings to us. And in the East, we also have the ancestors. So when I keep talking about being the dream of our ancestors, I feel them. I see the circle, and it isn't four colors in the indigenous. It's a circle of rainbow people, you know, just like a rainbow, people holding hands in a big circle. And those are our ancestors swooping in, saying, yes, this is what we're here for. Because many of them struggled, and many of us are kind of also struggling. And it's like, we're the last one. Like, we're going to manifest it. Thank you, East. Great spirits of the South. Entrance to the element of water and the emotional realm. And part of the healing of the planet and part of the healing of ourselves is reclaiming emotion is the word that wants to be said. Reclaiming, because it needs to be safe to express emotion. There's so much repressed emotion. And then in the healing process, we can also let the emotion take us over. And so really finding this healthy balance. And that's why I do think it's paired with water, because when I'm doing deep energy work, you know, we're talking about magic today. Water is part of that, whether it's showers, getting in rivers, just doing that. So wherever you are, find that water in your life, that wild water. And remember, the water flows, the river flows, and sometimes it's smooth and sometimes it's rough. But after every rough part, there's always a smooth part coming. And so that never ends. Thank you, South. And the plants, the trees, the shrubs, the grasses, the flowers, and of course, our medicine plants. We're so grateful for them. Thank you. Great spirits of the East, entrance to the physical realm and the element of earth. This is where many of our souls sometimes struggle, and we go to the crystals, the rocks, the gems, and the sands, because they remind us of our star connection or our creator connection. And so it's amazing. And we have to remember that the transformation that Earth is going through, whether we just look at the microcosm, like at a specific crystal, that's what our soul is going, complete transformation until it's shiny and bright. And People want to carry it in its pocket. Thank you, East. Mother Earth, Pachamama Gaia, this is your ride. And, we're going to get a little weird, I guess, today and really talk about the fact that Earth is a storehouse of information for the galaxy at a minimum. Like, I don't want to tell stories. I don't know the whole truth, but I hear that Earth is actually a very important celestial point in probably the whole universe. But, that just feels really big to me. But we're special. All of us, all the humans, everyone here, like we're doing something. And so, yeah, if it's challenging, it's like the end of the race, right? Our souls have been running a marathon. And so now we're getting to the end of the marathon and it is freaking exhausting, but we're all holding hands together and crossing the finish line. And Mother Earth has taken us there. So thank you, Mother. Father Sky, Star Nation, Star Beings, so grateful to have you here, to be in this. All of the ancestors, everybody watching through all space and time, all of the spirit guides of anyone watching through all space and time, and of course, whatever anyone's individual God, creator, source, so many words. We're going to be talking about that today because one of our things on the triad is faith/belief. And so we're so grateful. Thank you. Okay, we're in. All right, we start with some questions. Get some engagement going in the chat or by a raise of hands. How many of you have a hard time putting you first and asking for help? Meaning you feel like you're kind of a leader, you're doing your thing, and yet you just got to do it yourself. A lot of it comes from trauma, like hyper independence, which isn't always a bad thing. So does that resonate with anyone? Yes, when leading. Well, a lot of you are here to be leaders. We're going to talk about that. Lone wolf. Yep. Black sheep as well, right? Like if we grew up in the family feeling like the black sheep and then you get out, that's the microcosm of society. So then you get out in society and you have that. So. Okay, my second question is, this is the fun one. This is why we're here. How many of you know you have a special purpose? Like you're here to do something. And if you're here in front of me, it's probably spiritual in nature, right? So whatever it is. And then the second part of this, maybe there's either fear or lack of confidence that's kind of keeping you from whatever that next step is, or lack of, I don't know, I'm not aligned enough. I'm not healed enough. I have to do all of this first. And then I can step into my power, right? Because we talked about power, we talked about passion. Now we're talking about purpose. So those are the kind of themes that we're noodling on today. With that, I made these slides this morning and I got to tell you, I actually really like them. Okay, so I'm going to share my slides. Boom, boom. I mean, I'd been thinking about them. They were like half made. Okay, I'm starting with this slide again because I think it's important. What is reality? Again, I've studied a lot of Buddhism and he repeats things a lot because we really got to sink this in. Every atom is 99.9% empty space. Every cell is 99% empty space. Every human body is 99% empty space. This is science. This is physics. This is what we're here to really embody. We're blessed to have the science and the spirituality. A lot of people just have the science. They don't have this second part of the puzzle. But when you get them two together, it like fits. It's like, oh, now I can start creating magic. Okay. I forgot to do my story, and I do need to do that because it is relevant. So I've told this story, day 3. Now we're going through the lens of magic. We'll take you back to 2008 again. Working for Boeing. Not happy. Find a book. Awakening to Your Life's Purpose. Eckhart Tolle. I'll recommend that to everyone till the day I die. It's like, and it's been out forever now. But I think it had been out for a long time when I found it. But of course, at that time, it was featured on Oprah's book club. I'm trying to keep this story in. We don't need to talk about Oprah. But awakening to your life's purpose. I have a spiritual awakening on psilocybin. Something enters my body. I don't know anything about it at the time, but I know that I can do it, that it's my purpose. I go to Meetup, a women's spiritual pursuit. And each week, it's like this free women's group in Seattle, and we're learning about different things. So at the time, I don't know what a chakra is. I don't know. I don't ohm. Like none of this is all completely new to me. First week was numerology. I was like, whoa, like very cool. But really, this is going to Reiki. So one day there was a Reiki session, and she did Reiki on my head. And I was like, what's that? She's like, do you feel anything? I was like, I don't know. And she's like, well, I do. So the next day I'm at work, like in this mastermind, and for the first time, I'm seeing the energy moving across the room. I'm seeing the thoughts and the ego, and I'm like, whoa, that's something. And I was curious because I didn't have a sense of purpose at that time. So this was entertaining. This was like a whole new something that I felt comfortable with for whatever reason. So I ended up getting a Reiki 1. Soon I got a Reiki 2. Once I got a Reiki 2, the spirit guides really started to come. Like that was when I started to get in touch with this inner child and the masculine and the divine feminine. Around this time was also when I started the dancing. I didn't even talk about the burlesque yesterday. I can't believe that I forgot about that, but that was a pathway into my awakening, was through creating this character that was my burlesque alter ego. And then later I found out she was my spirit guide. Who knew? So Reiki 1, 2, eventually 3. Around 3 is about that time that I was appearing on So You Think You Can Dance. When that didn't pick up, that's when I was like, whoa, what now? I go to Peru. Well, I mean, there were lots of stops in between there, but I really am trying to keep this succinct. So I ended up going to Peru for 6 months. And at this time, I had already was out of the closet enough that I was doing Reiki on people. And I was like, I can do this. My plan was to like be on the like steps on the train to Machu Picchu, because I had already gone there once before for like an 11-day. I was there 11, 11, 11 for a shamanic ceremony with 13 different tribes on a sacred site, which is totally crazy. So that had called me back for 6 months. So I thought I'll just balance the chakras of people as they get on the train. And it just, that particular thing never materialized, but I did get a little Reiki room, and I was doing like Reiki on the rooftop at this little hostel. So I was kind of doing it, and then like selling earrings, like just hustling. But you can do that in Peru because it's really cheap. But I was awakening my inner shaman. I had met a shaman. He had trained in the Amazon for 10 years, and he developed a very big crush on me, but he was very appropriate. We developed a friendship, and I ended up staying in a house that he held his ayahuasca ceremonies in. So I lived there, and then and there was a studio upstairs. I would dance up there, and he held the ayahuasca ceremonies and San Pedro ceremonies up there. At one point, that was maybe going to become my nonprofit, but of course, that didn't happen. I just started my first 10-day Vipassana down in Peru. And after that, I ended up back in Minnesota doing Reiki at Lifetime Fitness. They loved it in the yoga department. And I initiated like a lot of like probably about 30 people in about 3 months. Like the people were just coming. And so I really thought that would carry, but I think it was because that was my home pod. They were really ready for me, but I didn't want to live in Minneapolis. So I left Minneapolis, and I lived many, many places, focused primarily on the Reiki, doing like little hour sessions, and then initiating people. At that same time, my performer shaman is being cultivated. At one point in time, I met a benefactor who financed me, that allowed me to actually do this, because it's not something that most people get to do, to just like attend circus school, attend 10-day Vipassanas, just all the shit that I did is just crazy. So that brings me to San Diego, when I decided I wanted to move on from hourly sessions and start serving my purpose, like getting in front of people, like creating transformational magic for people. And I feel like you guys want that for yourself too. And some of you are already doing it in your own way. Um, but this is my purpose, right? It's my spiritual purpose. Your purpose is completely individual to you, whether it's making music. Of course, the world needs high vibe, purpose driven music. So where this goes is anywhere. But the point is, I'm so clear that this is my purpose and I'm getting to dance. And I got to wear that unitard yesterday. And I just like love this body and love my life and am calling in even more every day. And we do this together. We do this in community. And yeah, rising tide lifts all boats. So that's my story of the spiritual guide part. It was all like going together. And this is really like the third chakra. This is I am. Like, this is where I can start to embody and say, I am, if that makes sense. So with that, let's get into the teachings. I'm totally keeping my eye on time thing. Usually I've been doing hour and a half workshops. This is my first 3 day. It's very exciting. I'm really enjoying it. I'm realizing I could easily make it 3 days of 90 minutes. Because there's so much. We're talking about everything. So I hope you guys have enjoyed being here too. The magic, shamanism, belief, faith, energy healing. Enough said. Okay, shamanism. I took this from Encyclopedia Britannica, which is like an old school, not random internet, and this is something I've known that original shamanism comes from Mongolia. So the term shamanism comes from the Mongolian word saman. The noun is formed from the verb sa, to know. Thus, a shaman is literally one who knows. The shamans recorded in history have had ethnographies including women, men, and transgender individuals of every age from middle child and onwards. So nobody needs to take this term on. But when we're talking about some of the actions, like when in my sessions, I do cord cuttings, soul retrievals, and extractions. I guess I didn't even, in addition to the 6 months, I also studied with a shaman in Portland for 6 months. And so it's like just learning. There are so many people that are excited to give this information. And a lot of the techniques that I do, I actually I didn't make them up, but I just know that soul retrievals are a thing and I just know how to do it, right? I know what a cord cutting is. And I had been doing them for a long time. And then one day, I've done a lot of travel across the country on I-40, and there's a lot of Native American shops. So I, added this. I got this like on Halloween right outside the Petrified Forest. So it's like creating the word that's coming is ritual, but I don't want it to be in some like hard and fast way. Like, oh my God, I don't have my dagger. I can't do a cord cutting. Or like, we don't want to give too much power to these things. But we want to feel free to connect with Earth. To me, that's what shamanism is. I think so I want you to feel free to explore this part of your world, to connect with Earth, whether it's just like sage. It's like whatever it feels to you, but this is a part of our healing. Really getting into the 4 directions, the 4 realms, the 4 elements, fire, air, and just really giving credit to this earth that we live on with regard specifically to spirituality and our spiritual evolution. So that's all I want to say on that. Oh, and then just that other thing that I alluded to, that I'm Norwegian. And I've been playing with the word shaman, shamama for a while and not like throwing it out there in any disrespectful way, but just finding my own comfort with it. And then I started to like really wake up to my indigenous roots and this information. Those northern parts, Ireland, all that, they had very ancient roots. And so this original shamanism, if it started in Mongolia, the very first place it would have ended up would have been the Baltics. It would have traveled down. So I feel really original and I'm okay with that. And when the Nordics, It's all connected. Okay. Because the shamanism, like they talk about very comfortably about how the ancestors come from the stars. That's like totally, if you start to look into some of the indigenous stories, the indigenous beliefs, they 100%, all of their mythology is related to being star people. And those shamans are the star people in their tribes. Okay, complete. Belief and faith. So there's two kinds. One is the inner faith in the self. And I use the words Buddha nature and I use Christ consciousness. So divine feminine Christ consciousness is what I use very often. And so this is key to own your spiritual nature. And depending on what your religious upbringing was, words like Christ might make you feel uncomfortable. You can call it that's why I offer Buddha nature too. And there's probably more infinite nature. You get to make it up, right? We know what we're talking about, right? But it's rooted in love and it's rooted in, there is a sense of power, passion, and purpose. There is a sense of power when you are embodied. What I should have put on this slide is I am presence. That's what I forgot. So when you are embodied in your I am presence, there is this powerful quality. And there is, when I say passion, it's not for other people. But when you feel that in yourself, which that's a good thing, to feel like you belong in this body and that it's like the greatest place on earth. Why wouldn't you want that in your body? But of course, other people can read that wrong. And that's okay because like attracts like. There's no fear. You're going to be around the people that respect you. Because that's where we're calling in. So that inner faith in yourself. And a lot that comes up here is like there's this persecution print. When we were powerful before, we were persecuted. So that's a whole other thing. And so the reason that that's okay though, because I faced what was it mystical? I don't know. I faced what seemed like I was going to be killed in LA, Illuminati things. Like this story will end up a full story someday. But the reason that I made it through there without a complete mental break is because I had the outer faith in a creator, in something more power than me. In my own Christ consciousness, I knew that if anything were to happen, then that was only what was destined to happen. There was literally nothing to fear. And I was like Carrie and Sage, I walked out of that hotel and I was like, come and get me. And I was calling my mom, and like a little bit freaking out. But the whole point is like when you have that connection to the creator, you can face your deepest fears. Because as you get to the higher levels of your spiritual development and of your transformation, the world does become mystical and your mind creates scenarios that seem kind of scary sometimes or hard to deal with, whatever that might be. And so when we have outer faith in something bigger than us that is guiding us, that we are here to be the dream. And of course, there's going to be scary things trying to keep us down. And we just got to keep going through because that's all created in our mind. It's a movie, it's a projection. So God was a word I wasn't using for a while, not mainly because I didn't feel comfortable with it, but I felt like other people didn't. There's just a lot of trauma, for lack of word, in the collective around the word God. So I was using Great Spirit, and I still do use Great Spirit a lot. Great Spirit is the indigenous term. But then there's source, there's prime creator, there's universe, there's all it is, there's love, there's the beloved. That didn't get in there. That's a fun one. And I do channel that energy of the beloved. That's very like Sufism and Rumi. So whatever your faith is, whatever your religious experience may have been in the past, I do encourage you to find. I got no beef with even atheists because they're going to talk about the universe. That's fine. You know what I mean? We're all talking about the same thing. So find what it is that you believe and let it be. Like dive into that faith, dive into that goodness. That felt good. Okay. All right. Now, so earth, belief, faith, for me, that's like very much us. We choose this. So now this is third dimension. Now, energy healing, we're getting to the fifth dimension. So the old way was shamanism. The second way was religion, belief, faith. We're still holding on to both of those things, and we're continuing to the spiral, continuing to the peak, which is energy healing. There's a million different types of healing modalities. So the three that I do, which I'm not even going to like get deep, I'll tell a little bit about them, but there are so many modalities out there, and all of them are valid and good in their own way. So for the majority of my journey, I started at Usui Reiki and got a level 3. Eventually, I found Kundalini Reiki, and I was like, yes. And I got 1, 2, and 3 very quickly. And that's when I became a Reiki master. That was in 2014 that I became, no, 2013, I became a Reiki master. And that was really all that I've been doing up until 2022. Reiki master, doing Reiki on people, initiating people to Reiki, and then like really evolving my session into what my session is. And then 2022, I found this new thing, and Kundalini Reiki is full body. We just do the chakras. It's all the chakras. I found compassion keys because I was working with the persecution imprint. I was coming against my own upper limit of as a spiritual leader and just feeling like I couldn't break through because of past life stuff, whatever, all these stories. And actually, I think Robin, we haven't confirmed. Yeah, we were in the same group, but this training was like hundreds of people and you didn't see anyone. So we didn't know. We connected later. I was gonna say we found each other. We connected later through another means, but so I just got that. And it's very throat chakra. It's inner child work. You say, I'm so sorry your parents weren't there for you. Whatever the story is, it's not super dramatic. I mean, it can be emotional, but it's more just about letting your inner child or letting your past life self, because I've also uncovered, the self that destroyed universes, the self that destroyed planets. I'm so sorry your power caused total destruction. So it's like all of that stuff. We just tell the inner child what it needs to hear. For me, it was important. It's a small part of my program, but I think it's important because we do need to get this throat chakra moving. This is really where we're at, right? Our hearts are open. We know we're here to serve. We're here to love. And now we got to start speaking it. And especially, well, no, I did say Hassan come in, but a lot of women particularly, we haven't had the opportunity to really speak our truth. And so it's our time though. I'm barely looking at the chat. I don't know. Okay. And then you were, yeah, of course, singing. Anyone who's singing, I know Robin and I are in separate, but both in public speaking. And a lot of you I met through, this weekend at another event, and that was a public speaking thing. I mean, you guys, the online is real. We can connect this way, but especially if you're a spiritual person, it's all about in person. And so, as you're coming into your person, ooh, I bet we have a show to do, Dominga. Getting in front of people can funnel people into, if you are to become a healer or whatever your purpose is, using your passion to fuel your purpose. Because I spent a lot of time, purpose, passion on the side. My passion has something to do with my purpose, but I don't know what. You know what I mean? And now it's really coming together. And then the final thing I want to mention is theta healing, which is new to me in 2022 as well. And this is a very faith-based practice where you download feelings from the creator. So let's say, this is my example. I came from a pretty good family. I was spanked, yelled at, don't cry or give you something to cry about. But it was the 80s. I think I said this yesterday. I'm understanding that the bulk of my trauma actually for me personally was not from my family. It was my experiences of being taken. And I'm blessed to not have memory of them. But still the same issues that a lot of spiritual seekers are experiencing. And so my family loved me, but never knew how to love me. So I had literally never felt love before, and it wasn't because people didn't love me. It was because they didn't know how to love me the way I needed to be loved. And also, I probably didn't know how I needed to be loved. You know what I mean? So, and I'm not like, oh, no one ever loved me. But just like coming to that realization is kind of a relief. So with theta healing, and there is something to it. My life hasn't like totally transformed in the way that I want, because some people have really magical experiences, like instantaneous bone healing. So I was like really hoping to like whatever. But downloading these feelings is really powerful. You can download feelings of what it is to feel safe in your body. Maybe you've literally never felt safe in your body. So if you need to do the law of attraction to get to the place where you feel safe in your body, but you've never felt that before, you can't take yourself there. Does that make sense? So we're talking about, for the law of attraction to work, you need to be able to feel like you're in that moment, like it's working out, it's great, you're safe, happy. But if you've never had that in your life, how do you do that? Your body has no frame of reference. So with theta healing, what I've discovered is downloading these feelings, I think, is doing something. I'll ask Robin, because she's been just getting it a little bit. But it's a powerful practice. And for me, it really is feeding the Reiki, because I'm still doing the Reiki, because the Reiki, got to come back to that. For me, we are awakening. Okay, I can go out of slides here. This is important. We are awakening into our homeoluminescent being. This is the indigenous prophecies. And so for me, I'm putting this light, which is a stream of consciousness. It's Kundalini Reiki, whatever that is. When it goes in the body on EKGs, in other distance healing, it lights up the cells. So it's coming in and it's cleansing my projector, the whole projector. It's cleansing the slides so that I'm radiating out brighter and brighter and brighter. And then I'm getting more feelings, and I'm clearing more beliefs, and I'm bringing in more light, and I'm radiating out, and I'm creating my dream life, and I'm speaking it. I'm talking about it. I'm saying I am. That's what I got to say about that. Okay. We're going to do a live testimonial. Robin and I met through business, actually. So we are both spiritual healers, guides, but also we met in this realm of building an online business, building a healing business, finding clients through the matrix. And she's been working with me, and I love her very much. I'm going to spotlight you. Thank you for doing a testimonial. I'm
welcome.
Myself, because I want to. I'm sure you're going to say the pure gold, and I want to be able to record it. So yeah, just say anything that resonates about, your journey up until here. You got a lot going on. I'm excited because it's been a while since you've done it. Yeah.
I know. I'd be interested to see the comparison of this, like what I have to say right now. And I didn't make any notes.
I know I love this. Let's see what spirit wants to say through you.
Yeah. Well, so I'm somebody who follows synchronicities, and the kind of the circumstances under which I ended up working with Lynn. We just completed a 6-month one-on-one program just recently, and I had been like going back and forth on whether or not to sign up for this like really intense year-long business training program that I knew I really couldn't afford, and it was causing me a lot of stress, but I was like also having a little FOMO situation, and just I knew I needed some kind of support, and really started to kind of realize that program was not the kind of support that I needed. And then that weekend I was supposed to go do this like Native American ceremony thing, and that didn't work out. And so I ended up going to a free masterclass that Lynn was offering. And then, she offered a free 30-minute breakthrough session coming from that masterclass. And I was like, I've got time. Sure, why not? Like, was resonating with the things you were sharing. I'm like, yes, chakras, yeah, this is like my wheelhouse too. Um, and it just, is like one of those things. I'm sure most, if not everyone, who's here or who's watching can relate to, like, just that, like, having this continuous feeling of yes, right? That like I just had to keep following that. And I'm just like, I'm so glad that I did. Because yeah, I've just been really supported in my continued transformation. I'm somebody who, as Lynn said, like, I'm an energy healer. I have a full-time practice, like, working with my own clients and stuff. But I'm really big on, you know, um, continuing to do the work to heal myself, and to do the generational healing that's needed to positively affect my family. And Lynn is like really somebody who gets that and is like right there with me on that level, which I haven't really experienced in any other practitioner that I've worked with, except for the person who trained me as a practitioner. So yeah, and just like I was able to participate in a Reiki initiation, and I've started to offer some of that to some of my clients, and that's been going really well. And yeah, I mean, just uh, like Lynn, I just feel like you're kind of the perfect balance of, like, you've got the groundedness, and then you're also like, you have the ability to go like way up and out here and then come back. That's important, the coming back part, right? um, and um, and just like, following your intuition, following your guidance, really listening to me, taking in like where I'm coming from and whatever it is that I'm experiencing and going through. And as I've said before, like, your kind of no bullshit approach, like, you held me accountable. You called me out when I needed to be called out. I was like, okay, why are you still doing this thing? We've talked about this already. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I know. So anyway, like, long story short, I'm just really in a place where I feel much more aligned with myself, aligned with my own purpose, understanding more like who I need to be serving, and feeling like, connecting with you and with this group of people, and just like the people that I've started to connect with since our work together just feels like this has also been an opportunity to start to really call in a tribe that's like kind of, um I don't know how to say it exactly, but like people who want to like dig in a little deeper, or maybe a lot deeper than people that I'd been surrounded with before. Like, as soon as we identified like myself as a star seed, and I was like, oh well, that clicks. Like, I like every single client that I worked with that week following that session was like, oh, we need to have a conversation about star seeds because you need to hear about this too. And every single person was like, yeah, just that synchronicity and that ripple and that expansion. So, I could go on and on, but I'm gonna stop here because I actually have to jump off in just a minute, to get ready for another call in a few. But I'm just really grateful, to have met you and to be here, continuing to be a part of it all and to be interacting with all of you. And if you're in a place where you're needing some support and you're resonating with what has happened in these last 3 days, like, I'm not getting paid to say any of this, like, consider working with Lynn, because I can pretty much guarantee, without putting that in writing, that you won't regret it. So, yay.
And we're leading towards, thank you, Robin. That was amazing.
Oh, you're welcome.
You
Thank
had me crying a little
you.
bit at the one part. The key part for me was what you said about yes, following that yes. Because being
Yeah.
a spiritual teacher is hard, and teaching online workshops is hard, and like who's going to book a call and all that stuff. And the whole point is what I'm here to teach and embody in real time is that this is supposed to be easy and fun. And so it's either a hell yes or it's a hell no. And that's what I'm starting to remember in my life, that in general, life is meant to be easy and connect, and not easy. Like we're going to have challenges, but you know what I mean, Robin. Like we went really deep. There were hard parts of the work, but it was all pretty easy.
Mhm.
Don't you think? Like in general?
I don't know if I would agree with you on that.
Okay.
Just to be totally honest,
No, fair enough.
but like, but it's all been worth it. It's all
Okay.
been exactly what I needed and worth diving into and working through. I'll say that. And like,
Okay.
and also as somebody who tends to make things a lot harder for myself than they need to be, working with you has been a really good reminder of like tapping into my joy and tapping into things that feel more in the flow than just like always like fighting and struggling and pushing,
Yeah.
so
And I guess that's what I was referring to, that I'm
yeah.
trying to, and it's only, I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like I'm kind of speaking from hindsight now. So like when you get to this other side, like, yes, this past 14, I've been doing this for 14 years, guys. That's when I quit my job. It's been hard, but I'm also at the point now where it doesn't, like when I know where I'm going, I guess this is the point. When you know where you're going and you know your ultimate purpose, in hindsight, it won't seem as hard. I think maybe. But yeah, I get you.
Yeah, I think I get where you're coming from too.
Awesome. All right, I love you.
I
And
love you. All right, so good to connect with all of
yes,
you.
enjoy
Mwah.
that
I
workshop
gotta
that you're
go.
headed to.
Thank you.
So that's a little bit about this. I worked with her one-on-one, but what I'm doing now is small group, primarily because I want to have more time to explore my life. This is about my purpose too. And also because the connection is so important. And also because it's more affordable for everyone. It's like, I want this to be accessible. So with that, and we are going to chit chat after, but I just want to go over some results and benefits of the work. And then I'd love to see if anyone has anything they want to say. But we got to do it in slide form. I wanted to be I am a teacher, but I thought I was going to be like a school teacher before I wanted to be an engineer. So, the PowerPoint slides and stuff, it's kind of fun. But it's also about remembering that everybody learns differently. Like some people are very visual, some people are audio. So it's really about that as well. Just getting the message out however I can. So results and benefits, it's kind of silly, but we're working with your energy system. So everyone's results are so different depending on your individual situation. And the beautiful thing about this work is even it's in a small group, me as the healer channel, whatever, I tap into you. So the energy that you get, the words, that everything is for you. It's very like there's nothing lost in a small group setting. In fact, you see the reflection even more, and it's really beautiful. But in general, you would experience a decrease in stress, anxiety, worry, anger, sadness, fear, unhealthy patterns in relationships. So, in general, just lower vibrational experiences, because what you're doing 1 week at a time, shamanic healing, you're getting higher and higher and higher, and you're having less of those experiences. Because remember, the outside world that you're having, the experience you're having is just a reflection of your inner energy field. So when you clean up this is that little fish tank in that really dirty little fish bowl hopping out. So that fish bowl is possibly your body. I work with the body. I'm an embodied master, right? It's not just about the spiritual stuff. It's about manifesting it in physical form. And then the results and benefits, you do the work, you hop out of that tank, and you're in this beautiful crystal clear with the green grass and the flowers, and you're experiencing stability and safety. That's our root chakra. We got our creativity, self-worth, self-love, self-expression, intuition, hope, and faith. So basically, you're stepping into your higher dimensional experiences. in general, one more time, because we've been talking about power, passion, and purpose. So you're going to have more power over your mind, your thoughts, reactions, because that's the first thing, basically the trauma happens in the body. So we take care of that in the energy healing. But what happens is the mind has still been programmed. So you need to be accountable for your thoughts and reactions. And when you do this work, because you're more embodied, it's just easier. So like you are the one that has to reprogram your mind. Nobody can do that but you. But it's easier when you're more aligned. You can catch yourself like, oh, there I go again. Oh, I'm worrying again. Oh, I'm doing this. So I'm sorry, it's not a magic pill. And I'm telling you, you don't want it to be, honestly, because the discovery is quite incredible. So in general, more control over your life. And, how many of you sometimes feel like you have no freaking control over your life, that you're just like being whooshed around this, day to day, what's next, not really, feeling really guided and supported, but maybe not manifesting the future in the way, like you're supported, you're carried, but it's just not as magic as it needs to be yet. So I'm with you on that. And I was very honest at the beginning that this mind thing is what, that's why I decided to make the free gift Joe Dispenza. I woke up today and I did my hour and 15-minute Joe Dispenza meditation. It's just what I need to keep my mind aligned and keep my eye on the prize. More passion in your body. Oh, this is what I love and this is what I want for everyone. So when I say passion, that's a feeling of safety and comfort. That's all that is, right? Because when you think of a partner, a beloved, and you're being passionate, because I'm not talking about being passionate with another person, but if we were to compare it with that, you feel safe and comfort with them. That's what allows that fire to build. So we want you to feel that within your own body, like a sense of belonging in your body. Like, this is mine and I love that I'm here, regardless of what size it is, regardless of what trauma it's had, regardless of anything. It is like an amazing meat suit that you get to play in. And that's what it is. It is a meat suit. I mean, we also have to get a little bit more real about our attachment to this thing, like, and then finally, more alignment with your purpose. And this is threefold: your connection with Mother Earth, because that's why we're here, star seeds. It's taken me a while to accept this. I still don't get outside. I'm so glad I'm a gardener, honestly, because that's my thing. I got my first strawberries coming up. So I definitely get nature. I want to have a retreat center where we grow food and dance and play music. So that's my connection to nature. But we do need to remember not to just make that a treat. Like, oh, I'm going on a hike today. Oh, I'm doing this today. But more when we're in those moments of stress, whatever that might be. I'm going to go outside and take breath, feel the sun on my face, like really allowing Earth to heal us in the little moments as well. So with Mother Earth, with your I am presence, because we are all little Buddhas, little Jesuses. Like I really do believe that's our purpose. And I'm not saying that to everyone on the planet. Not everyone on the planet is in this room right now. I have a prayer that everyone reaches their I am presence, but that's not going to happen in this lifetime, guys. I mean, let's be real. The latest number I got was about 60-40, like about 60% of the planet is going to awaken. And that's going to feel good enough, honestly. But this is a free will zone. This is a place this is the devil's playground too. We all get to be here. So, finding love. And we will go deep into that aspect of that. There are definitely I'm here to tell you that the entities that had tried to keep us, the light beings, in the dark, they're not in control anymore. So some of them are still hanging out on the planet, like they're still here, but they're not a threat anymore. That's all I can say. They're like gnats. Like, they still show up every now and then, and I'm just like, boom. So know your power. And you can do that when you're connected with Creator and your God, because those dark entities can't touch Source. They cannot touch Prime Creator. When you align with that, like attracts like, when you are fully embodied in your I am present, I mean, a bullet will bounce right off you. And there's, like, I don't know if you guys know about Amma, there's certain people that have had miraculous things. They are safe. They are protected by their spiritual faith. And so we are too. So with that, are there any questions? We have a little bit of time. Let's have a little conversation about the conversation that we just had, or that I just had. Does anyone want to say anything? I know you had a question, Asan. I'm going to spotlight you.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. So, maybe it's not very related. Maybe it's a little bit related. You mentioned that you had a bit of a false dichotomy between purpose and joy, and your joy has something to do with your purpose, but you're very focused on that purpose. Okay, I want to go give some context to my question, a bit more context, assuming that it is true that most beings, let's say humans at least, desire happiness. Would that be an accurate assumption?
Yes, I hope so. But we
Okay.
have to remember that everyone's dead. So when I'm talking about those dark entities, I'm like totally like feeling LA.
Yeah.
What makes them happy is very, very different than what makes us happy.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I'm again, assuming that everyone wants happiness,
Okay.
whatever that may look like. I found a process that could get me to loving what is, loving every moment in the presence. But I feel a bit skeptical to pursue that process because, okay, so if I love everything, then that what about the purpose, Like if I'm happy now,
Well, but then we have to remember. So here's my response. This is going to
you
sound.
understand, do you understand what I'm
Yeah,
trying
I
to
think
say?
this is going to sound, I hope this makes sense. I think what I would call, so this is a belief that I've adopted, and I still go back. So when the whole joy and purpose thing, joy to the world, right?
Mhm.
So I have chosen to believe that there was an ascended master named Yeshua who already saved the planet, so that I don't have to do that, because he never got to manifest in joy. He got murdered, right? So that stream of consciousness, the second coming, the awakening that's coming, is the Christ consciousness coming over the planet through each and every one of us. And we have to create the new reality where our purpose is joy. And so I choose to believe that this particular individual just did it already. Like, just let it be done. And then I can move forward with my purpose to serve. And you guys, I mean, I have my Sir William Sinclair was my 18th great grandfather, a very well-known Templar who built the Roslin Temple. My brother traced my genealogy back to southern France, whereas Mary Magdalene likely went after the death of Jesus. So like, I'm in that mythology world. And so my answer to that lies in the belief that the second coming is a wave of consciousness available to every person. And that's where the joy comes from. So you can have both.
No, I feel like, okay, maybe I lost you a little bit
It's
because I'm
okay,
talking
but for the sake,
like
we can talk more about this afterwards, because this is like a deep, but anything relevant to not that this isn't relevant to the workshop. After the hour mark, we can stay. I have nothing to do today. We can chit chat after, no problem. But I do appreciate you bring that in. For me, the answer to that question lies in the faith part, if that makes sense. Which is a hard thing to come by, but I'm bringing it. I got it for you. Does anyone else want to pop on quick? Cool. I'm going to do my last slide and then we can music it out a little bit. So I love I love having deep conversations, because that conversation could have gone on a very long time. Just saying. And maybe it will. Okay, but I want to get to know each of you more deeply. Like now I knew you had an accent, Mia. I did not know that you were French. Oh, that makes so much sense. I don't know if that was a good accent or not. I am going to pull up one more slide. I'm a very creative person, but I do not do any accents like at all. And so people that do accents or have like, especially actors that can have different accents, or like when a French person can have an American accent, for some reason, that's like really impressive to me. Okay, so next we move into, okay, so we kind of talked about what the biggest takeaway is a little bit. Can we get one word or like one or two words in the chat? What was your greatest takeaway today? Ooh, I love that. Tribe connection. I was really feeling that this morning, actually, because, one of the, I didn't even share it actually. One of the testimonials I was going to share is a person that I'm planning a retreat with. And then, one of the women on the other day is getting a retreat center in Shasta. So there's definitely something happening here, guys. Like this is what we're here for. So the tribe connection. Yes. Spirit tribe, finding the tribe. I'm glad. I love that. Okay. So I created this program. So we talked to Lissa. Yesterday we heard about Lissa, right? So she's feeling more comfortable, more passionate in her body after experiencing trauma in her life. And now she's feeling free and she's more able to explore her purpose. And then we heard from Robin, who she didn't talk much about. She has family drama too. We all do. And so finding her purpose, finding that support, and also finding that shift in her focus as we work together. And so I created this because, quite frankly, I had a divine mandate to do it, to dive into this unknown and embody my power so I could guide others. When I left my job at Boeing, when I read that book, and then when I took that psilocybin, and then when when I did all those things, it was all leading to this moment. It's all leading to now, and every moment will always be now. So I've spent 14 years on this spiritual front lines to bring together this wisdom and bring together these techniques in this specific way. 14 years and many lifetimes. We're all here to be a part of a divine, feminine, Christ and Buddha conscious awakening on earth. This is no joke. There is a flowering of consciousness happening. It's over the whole planet, and it starts within the individual. So we're trying to get to 60%, and we're at like 2% right now or whatever. I don't know where we're at, but like we got a lot of work to do. We're all primed and ready. We're like at 90%. You know what I mean? So it's time to be healed, period. It's time to serve your purpose, whatever that reveals itself to be within each individual. So if you desire more power over your mind, more thoughts over your actions, and a greater sense of ease and safety and passion in your body, more alignment with your purpose, with the higher self and the creator, then I am totally committed to guiding you through this, because I want you guys to have your best life. And this is where I'm on my way to. Like, it's happening. I'm so pumped. So over the next 3 days, I've opened a couple spots on my calendar to have what I'm calling a divine breakthrough. And I'm going to pull up a slide because that's how we do. Boom, boom. Share divine breakthrough. And I'm going to drop a link. So this divine breakthrough is a half-hour conversation. There is no pressure. There is nothing to do other than I want to get to know your story. I want to get to know where you are now, and I want to know where you want to be in your life. Super simple. So there's a lot of things that could come up. I don't have time. Oh, it's a program. It probably costs money. I don't have money. I can't even talk to her for free because I can't afford whatever she's gonna, and you don't even know what it is. And then there's the confidence, the self-worth. Like some people just won't book a call just because that yes just isn't strong enough. They don't have that worth that they're even worth a free call. And I know what that's like because I'm a person that used to not go in art galleries because I knew I couldn't afford the art on the wall. And now I go into art galleries, you know what I mean? And there aren't many people on the call, so I'd love to talk to every one of you. So I highly recommend you're joining me for this free one-on-one Divine Breakthrough session, because if you're committed to your sovereignty and your healing, you need community, you need tribe, you need support. So during the session, we'll basically just assess your biggest challenge in your life, your biggest problem, and see if there's a pathway to what I call your embodiment. And of course, if it's not a fit to work together at this moment in time, we're still connected. There's like, I'm here to serve. I'm not here to sell. And that is the hardest part of being in this chair in 2023, because there's nobody filling the Buddha bowl. You know what I mean? Like, this is what we have to do. If you feel that your purpose is to heal, you got to get out there. You got to put yourself out there. You know what I mean? So we'll find out your biggest challenge, because you don't have to do it alone. And I have so many things for all the people. Like, there's something for you in here. So here, okay, yes. Did you click that link? Yeah, click that link. I have 2 spaces open later today. So click this, open the chat and click that
Alright.
Calendly link.
Okay,
And just
let's do that.
time.
All right.
Yay!
Okay, guys.
It's over Zoom, so we'll be able to see each other.
Okay, wonderful.
Cool.
Love you guys.
All right. Thank you. I love you too.
Bye, Mia.
Bye.
All right. So that is my spiel. How'd I do, guys? Let me get out of this. Stop the share. So yes, that's the story. I'm here to serve. This is the process that I'm learning for connecting with people in this way. And so I would love to talk to you guys. So with that, I think we're going to end the recording and end the live stream. Anyone watching this from afar, book that call. There's going to be a link for you. And I cannot wait to connect. I love you guys. Mwah.